Hey, welcome to London Lips YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new and welcome if you are not, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the UK. The UK is going crazy. The British people are flooding the UK with flags everywhere. They're painting them on the floors, they're putting them up in their windows, they're hanging them from their cars. They are saying one thing, and they're saying one thing very clearly and very loud. They want their country back. So you're probably wondering who's got the British people's country. Well, they're upset about immigration. They're upset because they feel that there are too many illegal immigrants in the country. Now, how did the UK get to this point where people are outrightly putting their flags out, telling people to go back home and saying they want their country back? I think we've got to look back at Brexit to really understand what's going on here.
White. Birmingham is 43% white. Manchester is 49%.
Well, the white people were being told they are declining in their own country. Brexit came about. A lot of people in the UK felt like they could get their country back in terms of the European Union was putting a lot of, strings. They were putting a lot of rules in place, and the UK people wanted the UK to be run by the English government. A lot of people felt that if the English government took over, they would close the borders, there would be less illegal immigration in the country, and they would return to what they would call traditional English living, where they would have a high majority of English white neighbours, the pubs would be open. But instead, Brexit happened, and the economy became terrible, everything went up, cost of living was extremely high, there wasn't all this flood of jobs that the people have expected, and people became very dissatisfied with their lifestyle within the UK. With rising costs comes anger. People are angry and they're looking for somebody to be angry at. Now, they should have looked at the government, who literally got everybody into a bad financial situation, but instead they looked and said, I know, they're going to blame the immigrants. Now, I would like to say this, a lot of this, flags everywhere, ranting that they want the country back, protests, a lot of this has occurred due to one particular guy, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson publicly highlighted the fact that there was crime taking place from immigrants in the country. But he didn't just say immigrants are doing crimes. He was very specific as to which group he felt was doing the crimes. He exposed that there was a grooming ring taking place where white girls are being groomed by Muslim men within the country. This led to extreme anger amongst the people and more chanting that the English people want their country back. He made it very clear that the problem in Luton was Pakistani men. This made people extremely angry, and you can imagine if you're a person who already maybe wasn't keen on all the immigrants in the country, and then you hear they're coming to the country and they're targeting your specific racial group of women, and remember, they're not women, these are actually young girls. Of course the anger was gonna occur. So as a result, people said, look, we want our country back. They are tired. They're tired. They feel like they're becoming a minority in some cities. This is how the English white people feel. They feel the traditions are going. And it's spilling out into some people even feeling they can verbally, be racist to people and tell them they need to go back home. There's been many incidents where people have been on the train just minding their own business and they've been told, look, go back home. What made it even worse in the UK was when the government decided to bring in a Rwanda scheme. What was the Rwanda scheme? A Rwanda scheme was where they would get illegal immigrants who have tried to enter the country illegally and they would send them to Rwanda. This had the people chanting to every single person who was not of white ethnicity that they need to go back to Rwanda. So you could simply have, a driving offence, something like that. The British people would say, go back to Rwanda. And I think this also made the people who are very passionate about this in the country, who are now going down as patriots, whether you want to call them patriots, racists, whatever you want to call them, people who are just extremely passionate about their country, or just silent racists who now feel that they can speak out loud. This Rwanda scheme by the government, I think, has also made people think they can be very vocal, because it made the people think they have the right to tell people to go and leave the country. The Rwanda scheme fell through. Surprise, surprise. The government pumped loads of money into it, wasting money as always, why the regular folk suffer. And, it did not go ahead. So we've got a new problem right now, is we've got the illegal immigrants still in the country, and apparently they are being housed in hotels around the UK. This has got the people going crazy. They are going mad. They are flipping their shit. And I'll tell you why. Because in the UK, there is a lot of people who are homeless. There's a lot of people who are born within the UK and they are sleeping on the street. You can go down Oxford Street, which is in London. It's a major shopping area if you're not from the UK. I'm just letting you know, it's a major shopping area. There are floods and floods of homeless people sleeping on the street, by the shops. There's tents everywhere in the country at the moment. The cost of living is so high that many people cannot get accommodation, so they're literally sleeping outside, which is absolutely devastating and upsetting. And imagine sleeping outside in a country like the UK where the temperature can drop very, very low. It's absolutely horrendous. So people are saying, look, why is it you can house illegal immigrants but you can't house the UK homeless? Why are the UK homeless sleeping on the street? This is getting people mad. Now let me make this clear. Nobody should be homeless. Whether you're an illegal immigrant, you're an immigrant, you're born here, like nobody should be homeless. Homelessness is a horrendous thing for anybody to experience. And in a modern country, in a rich country, in a country where people's morals are technically meant to be in the right place, people should never ever have to sleep outside, just as we all feel nobody should ever have to starve. So I think, coming off the point of view that why are British people on the street and illegal immigrants are not on the street, the real question is, why is anybody on the street? So let's talk about now what would change if the illegal immigrants left the country. Well, one thing that would change is there would be a decrease in crime. Not because I'm saying all illegal immigrants are doing crime, no, because obviously less people equates to less crime. But the British people who are broke will still be broke. The government do not care. If you need housing, you still won't get housing. Like, the government absolutely will not care. They won't put jobs in the areas where there's no jobs around the country. Them areas will still remain with no jobs. Since the industries they had back in the day, the industrial industries closed down, the government has absolutely made no effort to replace the jobs and put decent industry into those areas. They continue to have no jobs in some of the areas around the UK. British people need to realise the government doesn't care about the British values. They don't care about the things you are missing. They don't care if you're missing your pub that you used to go to. They don't care if your neighbour's nothing like you. The government do not care. The rich is who they're taking care of. This battle that the British people are having with the illegal immigrants is absolutely a waste of time and a distraction. The British people need to be focusing on why they don't have enough money to pay their bills, why the country is flooded with debt. Everybody's getting in debt because the cost of living is so high. Why you go to the supermarket and you get one bag of food and you're paying like £50. That's what people need to be focusing on. The rich are just getting richer and richer while you're busy standing on the street saying you want your country back, a country that the government is never going to give you back. So what you need to be really focusing on is how can the living and the lifestyle people get be improved. It's not about race. The government is happy for people to waste their time arguing over, what race you are, whether you belong in the country or not. But while you're wasting your time doing this, your bank account is the same. It is low as hell. And I can tell everybody now who is in this country, who is in England, that if the illegal immigrants leave, you will be no richer. Unfortunately, the English flag has been associated with racism. So if someone goes into an area and they see the English flag painted everywhere, a lot of people start to feel uncomfortable if they're not white because it's associated with racism, being in a really racist area. Like if you've seen a house and it had a big English flag in it, you would think, oh, that family was racist. That's what people would think. So now obviously it's a thing. Everyone's putting the flags everywhere. So I don't know if the feeling about the flag is going to change, but I doubt it, because once again, it's been associated with something negative. It's been associated with, we want our country back and go home. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about this situation with the flags being put everywhere? And how do you feel about, immigration in whichever country you're in? Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll definitely see you guys in another one. I really need somebody, tell me you need somebody. I don't care about your lifestyle. Little way you touch my body.